Welcome to episode number 24 of the Dog Mystic Show for the love of animals. I am the Dog Mystic, Sherry A. Marquez. My mission is to keep dogs in their forever home by teaching people how to train their dogs without treats and how to get and keep families healthy, including all your animals, by drinking clean Kangen water. So my tip for today, first, it is the full moon. We got the crazy energies of this full moon, Sagittarius full moon. And if your dog is being defiant, not listening, is getting into everything, put the leash on the dog inside the house so you have control. And um, and then if you have a confinement for your dog, whether it's a crate um, or a playpen or a room, then watch or confine. Even if you cannot watch them for a couple of minutes while you go to the bathroom, then you have to keep them on um, confinement. And that could be like putting the leash like wrapped under the couch leg. So they're there and they're not going to tear into anything and you leave them with toys. So watch your confine. It's extremely important. You have control and the leash is your tool. So another thing I just want to bring up real quick is there's a new law that really went into effect in the UK for breed large bullies. So large bully breeds. So now they have to always be on the leash and they need to be muzzled. And it's not fair to do the breed discrimination just because of their size, because it's the people who make them aggressive. The people who make them aggressive because you got a extremely large, strong dog. If you don't know how to handle that dog, then of course they're gonna take control. All bully breeds are more defiant than other breeds. So the important thing is to do the training, know what you're getting yourself into, know the breed, and socialize. As soon as you get that dog, socialize them with everything, with all distractions, with people, with kids, with noises, with anything. Don't use them as just protection. Because when you use them only for protection, then it's not fair to the dog. You're not giving them the emotional support. You're not giving them the mental stimulation and the training that's involved. So do the training. Do the training. Treat them as family. And dogs are pack animals. We're the ones who domesticated them. So do the training and keep them as a part of the family. Don't exclude them. Don't put them outside. So they're watching everything that's going on inside. It's just not fair. It's not fair. And also, I mean, like, just because of whatever rule and fines that are being given, don't abandon your dog. Find out exactly what needs to be done to keep your dog safe so you don't get fined and um, you have an amazing, beautiful bully breed that will protect you no matter what. So that's my tip. Two tips today. But I have the honor of interviewing Victoria L Sanchez and Amy Zwangenball. So their love for animals, they have a huge love for animals. They're going to tell their story. So please give me one moment while I bring them on. Hello, welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having us.
Hello,
Thank
thank you for having us here.
thank you so much for being here. I love it. so, we'll start with Victoria, and then we'll go with Amy. So, Victoria, where did your love for animals begin? Was it at birth, or did something transform and you just began your love?
Oh, yes. It started definitely at birth. My mother, she loved horses. She raised and bred German Shepherds and poodles and various breeds over my lifetime. And we always had a lot of horses. I had rabbits. I had everything. Um, so yeah, definitely from birth, she rode when she was pregnant with me. So I've always been around animals and their nature, their love. They give back so much, and they're a reflection of us. So they've been a huge part of my life.
Nice. They're angels. They're angels placed on this earth to just bring us love and show us forgiveness and bring us into the present moment.
Yeah,
So we need to allow them to just bring us into the present moment, and that goes with exactly with the energies of the full moon and all the craziness.
yeah,
Uh, because my household is a bird, a cat, a tortoise is nice and quiet, but then the dog, and then I have a puppy Australian Shepherd. So yesterday there was plenty of times where it was just like, oh my gosh, like relax, everybody. like but them bringing us into like them bringing me into my present moment was more or less like, all right, let me put the stuff down, sit down, play with them, and get their energy out, and take them for a walk, and just be present with them, and that's it.
yeah. They have an ability to co-regulate us and ground us.
yes.
Yeah. I don't even have an animal. I have the little birds that fly around outside right now, but that's my service dog. Naya, she passed last July 12th. So every day I think about her and I make space in my house as I walk through and, visions of me feeding her. And she was so special to me. So, but I am not able to have another dog right now. So I'm waiting. And when I am, I'm going to give all the love that I gave to Naya to that new dog or new fur baby.
Absolutely. You're waiting for that perfect moment.
Yeah. In the
Nice.
meantime, Amy's little fur babies, she'll hold him up to the camera, and I kind of get to live vicariously through her.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what do you have? What do you have, Amy?
I have a uh, a Shorkie, a Shih Tzu Yorkie mix,
Oh, nice.
and her name is Sassy, and she's like a fuzzy little terrorist. She likes to shred things and pick on everybody in the household. We have another dog who's a rescue. His name is Mickey. He's supposed to be Shih Tzu Yorkie, but there's some other things mixed in there. Um, he's got very big paws and a very big voice. So when he snores, you can hear it all over my home.
Nice. And when did your love for animals begin?
I can't remember not loving animals. I think, I mean, I was the kid who would bring home the lost puppy or the lost kitten or whatever. I I always loved animals for as long as I can remember.
Beautiful. Beautiful. so, so Victoria, um, your whole story about your service dog and all of your dogs is extremely powerful. Um, so, would you mind explaining how how your service dog really 100% did her job and did everything for you.
Yeah.
It's truly, truly amazing.
She is truly amazing. Naya, my sweet Naya. Wow, that dog. I had, I'll back up a little bit, but I had lost my dad 10 years ago, and my daughter had rescued Naya from a shelter in Vegas. And apparently, they had taken her back 3 times, from my understanding. She was just so full of life, and she was a boxer Staffordshire Terrier mixed. So she had a lot of energy. And when my dad died, my daughter was going to go out of town to do something, and she lives in Vegas. And so she said, well, maybe you could babysit my dog for the summer while I do what I got to do. And it'll help you and it'll help her. And so I said, okay. And so I kept her that, I believe that's full summer. And then when we got so close, she was just like my rock. She was there for me. Me and my dad were so close, and it was a big change in my life. And so having her there was so supportive. Then at the end of the summer, when she had to go back home, I knew the circumstance. I knew I was just babysitting. And so she went back. It turned out that she stayed, I think, for either a couple of weeks or maybe a month back with my daughter. And I think my daughter had to go do some jobs or go out of town or something. So she kind of needed to be able to have someone watch Naya. And so I offered, I said, well, just bring her back here. I'll keep her. And then we got to thinking about it. And she saw how happy Naya was here and how healthy it was for me. And so she said, I'm going to go ahead and just let you have Naya, because I don't have anywhere to put her when I'm going to work. All this stuff's happening. So I'm just going to let you keep her. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that was the start of our journey. And at the time, my health was declining, all the stress. I was getting autoimmune diseases. Everything was going wrong in my body. And Naya was such a trooper. I trained her to be my service dog. And she had this thing for water. So everywhere that we went, she always made sure that I knew where the water was. And I didn't understand that until I started getting into astrology. But I'm fire, double fire. And she always, when we would go to hotels or travel, she would walk straight in and show me where the water sources were and where the refrigerator was. The toilet, the tub, the sink in the kitchen, the refrigerator. She always wanted to show me that. And I didn't understand how powerful that was until, like, it was like she saw something that was going to happen in my future. Because later, when in 2017, I got a flesh-eating bacteria, and it ate a hole in the palatal plate of my mouth. It ate out the center of my nose, which is the septum, and it dysregulated my body. They did a lot of surgeries to repair it, and it was left, like I was left without a palatal plate. So now I've lost my sounding board. I lost my ability to really communicate. I can't form words right. And Naya was already so close to me at this point. She knew my needs. I didn't have to speak to her. She gave me the nurturing I needed. She gave me the love I needed, and she got me through all of that. And she just got closer and closer to me, and her intuition was so keen. She nurtured me through all of my surgeries and losing my identity up until I had a death experience from all of this. In 2019, I died in my home, and I knew I was going to die. My health was declining extremely bad. And I left videos for my family, and I told my husband at the time that I needed 3 or 4 days. I needed 3 or 4 days away from everybody. I felt like I was gonna die, and I was just telling them that I needed 3 or 4 days. I couldn't tell them that I was gonna die. And so when I went through all of this stress, I did die in my living room. I had put a 50-pound bag of dog food out for my dogs. I don't even know how I physically did this because at the time I could barely get from my room to the couch to the refrigerator and the toilet, and that was it. Like, that was my limitation. But I managed to get the dog food put in a big horse bucket and put it in my house. I got one of those big old huge horse buckets for water. I filled that up and I left the back door open with the doggy door so they could run in and out. I knew when I laid on the couch that day that I wasn't going to be getting back up. And she knew too. Naya knew. And I had 3 other boxers at the time. One which I was very, very close with. The other was my daughter, or my son's dog. And the other one, she was just kind of everybody's dog. But Naya, when I died that day on the couch, she was right there with me. I felt this heat come from my feet all the way up. And I understand that now. I've done a lot of research on it. It could have been like the Kundalini awakening when you feel that heat come up and you burst open, your crown chakra, and you go on your vision and your journey or whatever is going to happen on the other side. Well, that's what happened. I I died and went to the other side, and I had never left my side. Even with all the heat and everything, she stayed by me. The other dogs would come and check on me, and they would run in and out. I had a camera in my house, and so for my dogs to see what they were doing most of the time. I knew, where they were if I was gone. And so the camera captured me laying there. I don't know that I was, you know, dead or my heart stopped beating for the full 3 days, but I laid there for 3 days and I went on this vision, this journey to the other side. And like I said, when I came back, Naya was licking me. She was licking me and keeping my body stimulated. Later, when I watched the videos, she continued to lick my body for that 3 days that I was laying there. She would lick me. She would stimulate me. She would lick my face. She didn't ever like paw at me or anything. She would get her nose under my arm and kind of nudge it and try to wake me up. But when I came back and I woke up, she was looking right at me. She brought me back to this physical realm and let me feel what it felt like to be in this body, because on the other side, I was flying. I had no connection with my body, but she helped to bring me back into my body. She stimulated that. And then when I finally did come back and realize I'm encapsulated in this body and I have to figure out how to use it, I didn't have any instructor. I didn't have anyone to look at. It was her. She stood in front of me. She was licking me. Of course, I'm like a baby just coming back, right? Just born. And I'm imitating her. So she steps and she's walking. Finally, I figured out how to get my body to move a little bit. Not well, but I was pushing against my body. And finally, I fell off the couch. I didn't know how to use my hands and arms and feet. So I'm watching her and I'm going, I have to do that. I have to copy her. It was kind of like being raised by wolves. I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't make my body do it. And so pretty soon I start getting up and, like a baby colt, I'm up and I'm falling back down and I'm up and I'm falling back down. And I finally get up and I crawl and I'm mimicking her. She's walking and I'm mimicking her. She's taking it very slow with me. We finally go into her water bowl. I haven't drank water for 3 days. She takes me over there. I follow her to the water bowl and I watch her drink. And then, of course, I'm trying to imitate her. So I'm like, do I drink out of here too? And I go to put my face toward the water and she kind of nudges me with her mouth, like, this is what you're supposed to drink, but not out of here. And so she wouldn't let me like really get in there, but I was trying to copy her. So she keeps gently nudging me and nudging me. She would lick again, show me like, this is what you're supposed to do, but not with my water. So she nudges me and nudges me again. And then she goes to the refrigerator. And at the time I had the water that came out the refrigerator. So she stands up against it with her feet and she starts pushing it, which I had taught her to do before. I really quickly am like, that's the same thing as that. I'm doing these comparisons in my head. I'm like, okay, so I push the button because she's showing me how to push it. I push it and then I figure out how to get water. I'm very thirsty at this time. So she did. She taught me all this stuff. She kept scratching at the refrigerator door. She would go to her bowl and eat. And I would look at her and I was like, wait, she didn't want me drinking her water. I'm not supposed to be eating that, you know? I'm trying to figure everything out. And so she went to the refrigerator and she starts like scratching on the door. So I'm scratching on it. Finally, I scratch on it and end up pulling it because I'm like mimicking her. I finally pull on it and I see the food in there. And then she starts sniffing around in there and she knocks one of the bowls out. And then that's it kind of started. I figured out when she knocked the bowl out, made a mess in my hand while I was cleaning it up. I tasted the food, and that's how I started like, oh, this is my food. Like she taught me how to be a human in dog form. Does that make sense?
That is amazing. That is amazing. But I mean, like, that right there is proof that all dogs have a sixth sense. They know exactly what's going on, and somehow, some way, she knew that needed to she needed to show you the water every single place that you guys went to. That is absolutely amazing, and I mean that's just proof. That's just proof that they are so receptive. They're so receptive, and every dog is different. Every dog has their own personality, and for amazing service dogs, they just know. They know what their jobs are, and they know how to um, exactly what they have to do. And the fact that you you created that like everlasting bond, but you also took the time to teach her specific things, and specific things that she knew. So it was all the training that you did with her, but then all of her sixth sense to know and to feel what you were going through, and just to know that everything was she just needed to guide you in the right direction. So it's I totally understand, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
I've been wanting to do a big tribute to her. I want to put a rainbow bridge over here in our community and make it so that everyone that loses their fur babies can put a collar on the bridge and maybe have a rock in the bottom, maybe do a dry rock bed in the bottom, and everybody can put their animals' departure date and their birthday on there, just a little tribute. So that's something else
Oh, I
I
love that.
want to
That's
do that in honor of
beautiful.
her. Yeah.
Aw.
And now another thing that you can do is have the I guess tell the person that once they're gonna do this tribute, then they put the collar on, but then they also like they paint the rock.
Yeah.
So on one side they can put the details of their animal or dog, whatever they want, and then on the other side they just paint something that's like special to them.
I like
That's such a good idea. Oh, that's
that.
cool.
Really into honoring and really giving reverence to those that passed. Our animals are so impactful in our life. And people, I lost my son in 2020. It was his 4-year anniversary on May 16th. And things impact me differently now. Things are much more profound to me. Naya was all I had left after Cody died. For the last 4 years, she's all I had physically in my life. And the warmth and the love and her suffering through cancer and taking my pain after Cody died, she walked that journey with me and rode my ATV with me. And she traveled the country taking my son's memorials, like to Washington, D.C. We got to take my son's memorial and induct it into the gun violent Hall of Fame over there, the Gun Violence Act. And she went on all these journeys with me. she rode in elevators and escalators, and she got to stay in penthouses and up on the top floors of beautiful hotels where she didn't have to go down to the doggy floor at ground floor. She had balconies and her own ground up there, and she thought she was on top of the world when we would be like in Washington, and we were, on the roof with the garden on the outside, and she would look over like, I don't have to be down there with you guys, I'm up here. And she was like my little angel, and she traveled with me, and I miss her. I miss that girl so much, and I just want to pay reverence to her and do something wonderful in her honor, like I'm doing for my son in writing the book for him, and just helping others go through their grief and trauma. A fur baby like that my angel, like, she gave me every second of her life. She went to the bathroom with me, she took a shower with me, she slept with me, she ate with me, she drank with me, she went everywhere. She was closer to me than anybody, and I now have to pay reverence forward for her, and I really want to do this rainbow bridge for her. And really lift her. And I want to do a book on her and show some of the videos that I've taken of our journey. And I think Amy might have a few of those ready if we have time. But yeah, I want to do a book and let everybody see all our videos we did together and inspire other people to do that with their animals too. Because they're your best friend. If you allow them and treat them right and love them, they pour every ounce of that back into you. Everything.
They're just amazing. They're amazing and beautiful. And one thing that you can do with the book that I did with my book was my book is Happy Dogs Equal Happy Homes, and I have it's all problem solving techniques. So you go to, like, you in the table of contents, you can go to that problem, and then read through the information, and then you have a QR code that goes with the video. So like the QR code goes directly to the video to explain, like the broader picture, so you can actually like see it in video instead of reading it. Just so it touches on everybody's learning learning aspects,
Yeah.
So
I love that. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've been through, thinking about how to put all that together in a book, because I really want people to be able to see the videos. They're fun and they're cute, and some of them are really, they're heartfelt, and just give ideas about what other people can do with their dogs and how they can pay tribute to them or their animals or their loved ones.
Definitely.
Are you able to get those videos, Amy?
Well, there's one that's really nice. I can post it into the chat if you want to share it. I'm not sure how to do that. This one's totally dedicated to Naya.
I had to put her down in the end. She just, she had cancer for 5 years, and she had a holistic vet, and she was, they loved her over there, and we did everything. But in the end, I had to put her down because she really withered away the last probably 4 or 5 days. It was bad.
She was holding out. She was just like, no, I'm holding out until the end, until my body just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened with my girl Emma. I just didn't know. I like had lymphoma. No, yeah, lymphoma, and so she was perfectly fine until she couldn't walk anymore, and it was like, by that time it was like, okay, I'm like, I felt guilty because I was like, I didn't know, until I didn't know until the end. And that's the amazing thing about dogs is they can mask their pain so well just to keep everything calm. and do their job, and like everything is fine until like they just can't walk anymore.
Mhm.
They can't walk anymore, and the cancer just like took over her body. So it was like it was it was so hard.
Yeah.
But
Toward the end, that's how it was. It was like we were going to the vet every week or every other week to I wanted to make sure I was not making her allowing her to suffer. And, we went along with what the vet said and what her spirit was showing us, but boy, that last week was hard. It was really hard. It hit her hard.
sure. So you know what I'm gonna do with the link that you sent me? I'll put it into the description so
Okay.
people can watch that. So
Okay.
for sure,
Awesome. Thank you.
no problem.
And all
Um,
this, I wanted to thank Amy. Amy's helped me with my book. She's my executive assistant, and my other partner, Joe. Well, she wasn't able to come on today, but they walked this journey with me. And Joe actually met Naya, because she went everywhere with me, so she got to see her when I went to Florida and Vegas. And Amy didn't get to meet her in person, but got to see a lot on Zoom, I think, in video. So, yeah. But everything that has happened has brought me here right now to be in front of you, having Amy and Joe by my side, and lifting my angel Cody up, writing my book, lifting Naya up. Like, I'm in a good place right now. I'm in a good place, and I just have a lot to be thankful for. So, and thank you guys for being here with me.
absolutely. And I'm sorry about your loss for your son. But what's the I mean, like out of every loss, you can either crumble um and that's not what you did. So you're leaving a legacy for him. And what's the name of your book?
I'll let Amy if she wants to. I did. She read the forward. She did the forward in it.
It's superhuman healing frequencies using the five senses and five elements to find peace after trauma and grief.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you wrote the forward to the book.
I did, yes.
Can you read it? Can you
Sure,
read yourself?
I'd be happy to.
That'd be great. Yes, please.
As I reflect on my journey, I realize that for about 50 years, I walked through life in a state of unawareness. But before encountering Victoria, the profound influence of my five senses and the five elements on my existence eluded me. I was akin to many in today's world, routine bound, going through the motions, nourishing my body mechanically, and numbing my mind with distractions. My life lacked depth, purpose, and vibrancy. I indulged in habits that clouded my senses, masking the richness of life behind a haze of fleeting pleasures. However, meeting Victoria was akin to wakening from a prolonged slumber. It felt like the sun suddenly burst through the clouds, illuminating a world I had never truly seen before. Through her wisdom and guidance, I transitioned from mere existence to a life of profound meaning and genuine fulfillment. Her teachings breathed life into my days, transforming what I once deemed as fantasy into a tangible reality. Now, as I sit at my keyboard, attempting to encapsulate the transformative impact of Victoria's teachings, I find myself at a loss for adequate words. The life she has enabled me to live surpasses any fleeting indulgence or superficial pleasure. It's a life steeped in authenticity, purpose, and unbounded joy, a privilege I never believed I deserved. I extend this invitation to you, dear reader, to delve into these pages and awaken to the boundless potential that awaits. Let Victoria's wisdom be your guide as you embark on a journey of self discovery, empowerment, and the realization of a life truly worth living.
Beautiful. Oh, that's great.
Amy, worked tirelessly to get this published, and we did it self-published. So yeah, she's been my rock, my trooper.
So the book just goes through exactly what happened with um, with your son and have um, have how you have overcome like all the grief.
It's so this is going to be leading into like the big book. This one is about, it talks about my journey, what happened to me, what happened to my son, and then in, like, modalities, different things that I learned that helped me, how I applied them to the five senses, to the five elements to balance myself out. There's like tools. I think there's a 30-day challenge in there. So there's spaces for you to write and do different techniques and apply them to yourself. So yeah, and then it has all of the people, the acknowledgments in the back, and yeah. So it'll be
Beautiful.
going into something even more in depth and more webinars, and like I'll use the book as a tool when I do a webinar or something, some training form online or in person. So we'll use that.
Beautiful. Oh, that's fabulous.
Mm.
And the amazing thing is that like you have your angels, you have your amazing angels to watch over you and step by step by step by step just to for Naya, she's still your service dog. She's just an angel and watching over your every step. And your son is right there with her. So
Yeah.
it's court. It's just amazing.
There's a lot of angels in heaven right now.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
How long
Well,
have you trained animals?
I have been training for 23 years. So 23 years, and my love for animals just started right from the beginning. I mean, my grandfather had a pigeon coop, and was raised with dogs and cats, and I had a large. My mom allowed us to have a large 20-gallon tank to stay on the porch. I lived in New Jersey, so whatever we caught outside, we were able to keep it in the tank for 24 hours, and then we put it back. Um, and I wasn't. And the only thing I don't like is creepy crawly bugs, like cockroaches, spiders. Nah, I don't like that. But any butterflies or dragonflies, the anything, anything. I'm like, ooh, I want to see it. And they just bring me so much joy. I was teaching kindergarten through third grade for 5 years, and one of the schools that I taught at, I taught Montessori, so early elementary, and I was the snake lady. So if there was any snakes on any of the playgrounds or on the property, then go get Miss Sherry. Miss Sherry, Miss Sherry, there's a snake. And so I would go out and grab, get the snake off the playground, but then I would use it as like a educational piece, like you don't want to do this. You need to be aware of like exactly what kind of snake it is, and if it's poisonous or if it's not, and this is what to look for, and this is only a gardener snake, so you have nothing to worry about. But I'm like, don't do this. That's why all the teachers told you to go get me, because I know, like, I know the snake, I know like what's going on. So so I've always been I've always been a lover for all animals.
I love that.
Yes.
And you're in Florida right now. So
Yes.
what do you think about all the crocodiles, alligators?
So the alligators, they're they're just like dogs. If you leave them alone, then they're fine. Like let them do their thing and don't bother them. Don't give them any threat. They're living in their environment, so there's no reason to to bother them. Observe them from a distance and
Yes.
leave them alone.
When I was driving through Florida, and I don't remember, it was like off of some, wasn't the main highway, but there's those little roads and they kind of are right by the swamps. And I could not believe how many alligators were killed by cars. They were just piled up on the side. I guess semis hit them, and there was a lot of them on that one road. So I wonder why they have roads through places like that where they don't have better fencing so they don't get hurt like that.
Even if they put the fencing, because I mean, like the main road that goes across is like 75, the main highway. So that's where a lot of the alligators are. But they do have the barriers, like the metal barriers. But because they're so big, they can just go like crawl wherever they want,
Hmm.
and then I guess I'm assuming I don't know, but I mean if they're sunbathing and they're just like in pure bliss and it's kind of like in the side of the road, um, maybe even if the cars and the trucks are passing, then maybe when they wake up, then they're like kind of disoriented and go towards the highway instead of going towards the water. But
Yes.
who knows? Who knows?
That's a, yeah, I have never, even well in when you go from New Mexico to Arizona, there's a part there in the mountains where there's just a lot of deer. So you will see a lot of deer. Sometimes you'll see a herd of deer that's been hit, one right after the other on the road. But I hadn't ever seen that with alligators before. So that was a little bit shocking to me. I couldn't believe how many there were piled up on the road that day when I went. I felt so bad for them though.
I
It's
know.
just like, poor guy took the wrong direction.
Like, go that way. No. Yes. So, so what's the title of your book again?
Superhuman healing frequencies.
Human frequencies. Okay, excellent. So I will put a link into for your book to go check out your book. And where can people find you?
I am at, if you look on the top part of my screen, it says www.ridewithvictoria.com. And you can find my book in there. You can find my doTERRA in there, my Lady Boss, all the affiliates I have, my blogs, podcast, magazine covers, articles. It's all in there. Amy works a lot on that funnel for me.
Beautiful. I
Yeah,
love
she's
that.
done an amazing job.
All right.
And you
Well,
can
thank you.
also, oh, I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you Google hashtag and then the number one, hashtag One Mom's Memorial Ride, pretty much there's a lot of videos on there that you can, probably thousands of videos that you can go look at. And just about my journey, my ride, my ups, my downs, where I've went, my adventures.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so very much for being a part of the Dog Mystic Show. And I truly am very grateful. And um, let's keep on sharing and um, just, just thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Appreciate
Yes.
you.
Appreciate
And
it.
um, so, everyone, if you want to get more of my information, it's thedogmystic.com. All of my information is on there. I have online courses, online dog training courses, and my book, Happy Dogs Equal Happy Homes, and more information about some Kangen water as well and to get and keep your families healthy. So, thank you so much. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, And wherever you're tuning in from, have a wonderful day or evening. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.